This is Word with Ty Brownlow. I am your host, Ty Brownlow, where no one is worthless, no story is worthless. And today we are doing our segment on the Hollywood hustle, myth versus reality. And today, my guest, let me give you a few words about my guest. Spiritual, determined, traveler, optimistic. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show, Reina DeLa.
Thank you, Ty.
How are
Good
you?
to be here. I'm great.
All right.
Tell me on your show.
Nope.
Chicago Connection.
Chicago Connection. That's what we're about. We're all about connections here, okay? So I'm just going to get right into it, all right?
Sure.
You've lived in 3 major cities, correct?
That's true.
All right. So how has living in 3 major cities benefited you as an industry professional?
I would say starting off in Chicago, in the Midwest, where you see what's going on both coasts. It gives you a perspective of, understanding where you're from, but also like curious to see what really the hype is about the East Coast and the West Coast and what coast do I want to go to. So I think like as an industry professional to be on both coasts is very detrimental in understanding like the different levels and the different not only just nuances but culture.
Okay.
Culture. So if you can understand your culture, learn other cultures, because we have such a big country. This is the only country that I know of where you can have so many cultures spread out in one country. It's so different from like Europe or South America. So I think like when you go to the East Coast, you understand like really honing your craft, sophistication, intelligence.
Okay.
Like I feel like historically the East Coast has such a learned, applied, competitive understanding of more than just one industry.
Okay.
That I feel like the East Coast is kind of like those, they're the pioneers, the frontiers, the pilgrims.
Yeah.
It's like where everyone settled.
Everyone settled in the East when they first came to the country or whatever.
Yeah, and grew. And then it spread. Just like Hollywood. Hollywood was first in New York.
Okay.
The films that were being made were all on the East Coast.
True.
Came to Chicago for a short second, and then it grew up on the West Coast as people migrated. So I think understanding that, like understanding the history, being part of it, you have kind of like that in your background, like in your subconscious. So when you have like this different perspective, you're also bringing it to like when you go to the West Coast, you already know the East Coast flavor. You already know the Midwest flavor, which a lot of people don't know the Midwest flavor, which I have come across in New York and especially in California.
So may I ask, why do you feel that gets overlooked a little bit? I think on the East Coast, this is my opinion, I think on the East Coast, Chicago is known, but it's not as big as New York. So New York has like the population size and it has the world size. So it's focused on like the world, New York City, Boston, those areas. And then out here on the West Coast, I just feel like people kind of like, I'm on the West Coast, I'm in California, where do I need to go? Besides New York City, and New York City's too big for me, so I don't really mess with major cities. So I think like California is kind of like I have it all when I began here. So I'm not really like, I've never been to Chicago. I'm like, you gotta go. I say that to everyone. I'm like, why haven't you been to Chicago? You gotta try our food. You gotta understand what the South Side is about. You gotta understand downtown. You gotta understand this is a city where it's historically like very smart on its construction, but because of the history, because you have to know where you come from, you have to deal with like certain obstacles. California is just kind of like, we don't really like talk about our history, or you know what I mean? No, they don't. It's pretty much overlooked. Or, in my opinion, I've seen it where, it's like almost as if it's like non-existent, or like stuff never happened, and it's just this big melting pot of diversity or whatever. But like every city has a history. So.
It's true.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So, all right. I'm going to move on to my next question.
So how did living in 3 major cities contribute to your evolution?
Definitely evolved me, whether I wanted it to or not. I feel like growing up like in the Midwest, you have like that neighborhood feel. People are looking out for you. People are friendly. You don't really have to check people's motives as much. And the East Coast, people are just super competitive, so they're kind of like in their, zone. So it's hard to get their attention because they're so focused, and it's like their blinders are on, and it's very like intellectually, like you have to get people's minds involved because of, I feel like the Ivy League and like all the A-type people and OCD people are all flops, like right there in a small condensed place. So to get their attention, you have to like come with your top, the top. You have to come with just like, you can't come superficial. You gotta come from like a foundation strong to where when you say something, like you mean it, you know it, you get other people involved because people are so busy, they're hustling, their blinders are on. So, and it's very well studied, very worldly. So it forced me, without even knowing it, to like embrace all of that. And because you're surrounded with it, like the whole population's like that, it's kind of like, you can't really ignore it. It's in your face every day. Like the best of the best from China, Russia, Africa, everyone is in that city, and it's like the best of the best. And even the people that were the best that are still trying to struggle, like they bring another outlook to your outlook. You know what I'm saying? So like when you're not around that outlook, I can see how people in middle America like never had their outlooks challenged, like never had their perspectives challenged. So like you're kind of like forced in New York City to accept it, and it's part of like the culture. So that made me, I feel like, have a broader perspective about people in the world and like the way we live. So that made me evolve, I would say. Especially like I worked in corporate America for like 6 years, and like corporate America, New York City, you have to be on the top of the top. Like you have to be like on your game.
You have to be gritty. You have to have a strong will and work in corporate, especially in a city like New York, because they're known for that.
Yeah, it's very cutthroat. Fortunately, like another thing about New York City too, like working there, it's such a worldly city that I worked for like international companies. So that helped me too, because there's so many more like international headquarters in New York City, because everybody wants to be there. So if you have an international company, you want to be in New York City. So like especially with like finance, consulting, like you name it, like the whole gamut is there. So that's like forced me to evolve with just by having to pay the rent. You know what I'm saying? Like working, like you're working with like professionals, and doing that like forced me to evolve. So when I came back to LA, it was really hard for me to like assimilate, because I was so used to having that kind of level of like, not just hustle, but like, like the level of intelligence, the level of diversity and perspective. And we get out here, it's kind of like a little bit too Hollywood in a way. Like it's not all Hollywood anymore, like I felt like it was before. But it's just kind of like that's what's mostly on people's minds here. So
pretty much living their life.
Yeah, so like this is forcing me to evolve to where it's like, how can I either bring the people up around me without being isolated, which I feel like that's why a lot of people leave the city, because they're like, dude, I can't connect with the culture. I can't, and I remember that was the first time I was out here from Chicago. All my friends are from Chicago. Every single one of them, except for maybe 2, stayed because they're like, this is just like cultural shock, I need to go somewhere I feel like a culture, so that's what's forced me to evolve, long-winded.
Okay, no, that's all right. I mean, you broke it down and you brought it back, so that's quite all right. So as a woman of color, how has your experience been breaking into the industry here in LA?
Yeah, so like I was saying, I've been out here 2 times. The first time I felt it was super hard. There were like Latino film festivals that I volunteered for, that I got to meet other like Latinas like me and other Latinos that are like working in the film industry. And it was through this film festival that Edward James almost sponsored as well. So I was like, oh, Edward James almost, if you're like Mexican American, you know who he is.
You know, yeah.
And he's like, you know, like one of the pioneers in Hollywood as a Mexican male, having lead roles in films, which are very few.
I remember him on Miami Vice when
Miami
I was a kid. So yes,
yeah.
I know who
Lieutenant
he is. Yeah,
totally.
Castillo. I just
Shout
knew.
out to Edward James almost.
Thank you, Crockett and
Miami
Tubbs.
Vice,
Thank you.
Crockett and Tubbs.
Thank
Yes, I watch that every Friday. So that would, to me, was like my first exposure to other Latinos working in Hollywood.
Okay.
And it gave me a sense of like, oh wow, this is something that I needed to do, but it was also the reality of like, it's such a small number. Such a small number. And yeah, because I mean, it's still not mainstream in my opinion. So I still feel like it's hard. Like, it's only like, who else is it? George Lopez, when he had his television show, you know, like one show, and then when he had his talk show and then it was canceled, it's like, who else is really out there like representing for like, I would just want to say like brown people, you know, like Latino people. I feel like now, like as a woman of color, you know, I do see more women of color like making, having doors open for them. But I really do feel like it's in the beginning of the evolution. Like I feel like it's going to be like more women having to come together, helping each other get there.
Gotcha.
You know, because of the shifts with the male hierarchy and things being exposed. So I see like a small, like kind of like an underground beginning right now. We're not really seeing what's going behind the scenes as far as women in power in the industry, but we're gonna see it.
Okay.
As long as more women of color come together to make those opportunities, because as we see, like, it is male dominated.
Yes, it is.
And they're not necessarily looking for that, you know.
They're not looking for the diversity that you feel that you all can provide or what have you.
I think so.
Okay.
From that perspective, as a female.
Okay, all right. So on to my next question. Women of color are on the rise in the industry, as you were just talking, saying. What passion projects within film, television, theater would you like to get into?
So I was thinking about that. I've made some, as I've evolved across the country, like you said, the different cities. I was looking to come back into the media industry here in Los Angeles, and I actually think my projects will probably be more internet focused. Okay. I feel like just with the changes of technology and distribution, and you're not necessarily like watching TV shows as much as you're watching series like on Netflix and Amazon, and that has like a really good culture following. And when I was in New York, I started to develop my web series, which was called Tenacious Memory, which I wanted it to be more of like a collective of a place where people can share their short films and media projects of memories that just define them. So I have like 2 episodes up. So I think like I want to reinvigorate that web series. I have done some on-camera things and I'm not opposed to that. Okay. I totally welcome any opportunity, you know, whether film, television, or internet, but I really see like you could just do more on the internet.
Okay, well that brings me into my next question. You know, you do spend a lot of time behind the scenes. Yeah. So what are your plans on acting? What type of role would Reina like to see herself in?
I'm that kind of person. I've been behind the scenes so many times. I would see myself, because I've directed my own videos, I've directed my own short films, as being like one of those cameo people.
Just walking through the scene,
well, like, just being at a coffee shop or having a few lines or something like that, or driving a cab or something where it's just like
I'm just the executive producer
like,
of this part.
I'm like, I'll definitely be someone that the leads interact with, but I won't take the shine for that. Like, I'll just be like, you know, like back in the day, like John Singleton did that. You know,
he
like he was
like
Larry Vine or something,
you
know what I mean? And he's like, you made the film.
Right,
you
like,
know what I'm saying?
is that the role you wrote yourself?
Right. I like that. That's totally my style, like incognito, cameo, you know, I still like being behind the scenes.
Okay, all right. So, how has networking worked for you so far here in LA?
You know what, I've been kind of, I haven't been as ambitious networking as I was coming out of film school the first time. Because the first time I came out of film school out of Chicago here, I really worked my alumni network. I volunteered for, like I said, the LA Latino Film Festival. Like, I followed up, I met with people, I took them out to lunch. But since I came back this time, I've had a kind of a slow start, because I've done the corporate thing, and I've gotten back into school and higher education, and I'm trying to really work on my focus, because I still want to be involved in the arts, because I feel like for me, especially when I was in New York City too, working in corporate America, I missed, you know, being part of the arts so much. I volunteered for the New York Free Arts New York, which provided art programs to children in schools in New York City, especially like Harlem and Brooklyn, that didn't have arts in their schools. And we also bussed in children at homeless shelters. And working in that made me really understand the need, and also the love of arts for children. Because if it wasn't for art when I was growing up, and having a aunt that was older than me who was an artist to help me see a perspective at a young age. It's funny, it's like the older I get now, the more I care about the next generation. What are, not just what are you watching on the internet you have access to on your phone, but what can you participate in your community for arts and arts education. So now my networking basically is the program that I'm in, which is the Sotheby's Art Institute through Claremont University here in Los Angeles. And I'm just starting to network with arts organizations. There's a lot of nonprofits. There's so many galleries here, and there's so many museums, and there's more that are coming together and collaborate. And so I feel like LA's not like New York, where there's so much already established, which is interesting, which is also exciting when you think about what you can do. So I'm still working on networking with people to understand kind of the arts organization that I want to start, which would definitely include not just arts and physical arts, but also media arts. So, but you have to network and really get to know the infrastructure that's here. So I'm starting that, and you definitely have to network for that.
Reina DeLa making moves, y'all. So in the next 3 to 5 years, where do you see yourself? I mean, you've been all over. Do you see yourself living in other cities? Or do you still see yourself here, possibly in LA?
Yeah, I thought about that too. I definitely, because of living in other cities and other climates, this climate is the best. California, it's what drew me back. So I definitely see myself staying in Southern California. I do feel like I do want to branch out to, actually, I do want to travel more. I do want to go to other countries more. I kind of have this feel of the more I study with arts and history and education, the more I do want to actually go to other countries and learn other cultures. Either whether it's visiting, you know, I don't necessarily see myself living in another country.
Okay.
Well, we'll see about 2020.
Right,
Let
right.
me just take that back. I won't be opposed to it. But I really do feel for now like Southern Cal is my home. Yeah, and it's close to Mexico too, and I have family there. And I'm actually going to Mexico City soon.
All right.
Which is another huge artistic, cultural, you know, historic phenomenon. You know,
So you're just getting all this artistic exposure going on right now. You're just
I want to take advantage of the West Coast and North and South America, I think. Like, those will probably be my regions.
okay. All right. Well, Reina, this brings us to our final question, and the question that this show is known for. What word would best describe you, and why?
It's really hard to pick one word, but I remember the first time I came out to LA and I was very ambitious. And one of the actors I was working for, he told me this, and it stuck with me.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, you're very tenacious.
Tenacious. Okay.
He's like, every time I ask you, you know, when I was interviewing, like, before I could even blink, like, you're, like, on top of it, and I just saw your tenacity. And, like, I to hear that coming from somebody else, you know, like, that word stuck with me. And even to where, like, years later, that was, like, in 2003, 2004, you know, I'm in New York City and I'm working on my web series, and the word that came to me to title was tenacious memory. And I just feel like there's such a theme to me and tenacity.
Okay.
That no matter where I've gone, from like Hollywood back to Chicago to New York and then back here again, it's like I feel like I'm one of those tenacious people. I have a tenacity about me. Some people can call it, you know, perseverance. But like I really feel like tenacity, tenacious. That would describe right now.
Okay, all right. Well, folks, there you have it. Real quick, if anyone wanted to get in contact with you, shouts out, contact information, social media, how does someone get in contact with you?
Sure, my email is Reina DeLa 7 at iCloud. So that's ReinaDela 7 at iCloud. My Instagram handle is Reina DeLa 7. And those are the ways you can reach out to me. Thank you for the opportunity, Ty. I appreciate it. Thanks for having your show.
Reina DeLa, y'all.
Word with Ty.
All right.
Ty Brownlow.
All right. Be on the lookout. We out. Thank you.
Thank you.